The EduTech guys present a conversation from our live coverage of FETC in Orlando, Florida from Thursday, January 25th, 2018. Enjoy the program.
Andrew Graf with TeamDynamix. I am in charge of product strategy for the company. Yeah, glad to be here.
Awesome. So tell us about TeamDynamix.
What we do is we're a work management platform for K through 12. So think about all of the requests that come from teachers when they have problems with technology in the classroom or the facility. Parents, they want information about their students, and students. I have problems with my laptop, my tablet. Our software makes sure that it's really easy for all those requests to get to the right places and be efficiently dealt with very few mistakes. So it just makes it very efficient for the technology people, facilities people to get their work done, and then they can spend more time on implementing all these great technologies that we talk about here because I don't know if you had a chance to read a recent study that we put together. It's a Pulse study about IT challenges. The number one constraint for the majority of the folks was resource constraints, so lack of resources. So what we do by efficiently processing things, allowing students to go online to Google, parents, teachers, and Google for answers on how to solve their own problems, we give them that time back to focus on implementing all this cool stuff to improve the learning experience. It's really, really impactful.
Cool. So so a school comes on board.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's, a lot of schools are so used to tech being that we do this one thing and then we're not going to see them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the way this works. This is an ongoing, living, relationship with you guys to build the workflow, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's you're still going to have to create the workflow. So kind of give us our listeners education.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like to know about the steps. Like, okay, we do this. What are we looking at? Can you give us kind of a brief summary on the steps of that?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll take a step back first.
Okay.
The defining force in what it means to have a high service experience, right, from a student's perspective or a parent's perspective or a teacher's perspective, the defining force is Amazon and Zappos. So all of these CTOs are now being held to the expectation that they're going to get immediate feedback. They're going to have all the answers at their fingertips. They shouldn't have to talk to somebody, but if they want to, they should be able to. So these expectations are huge. So what we typically do is we'll engage with a district, and we'll say, okay, what are the main things that are being requested all the time? What's draining your resources, your facilities people, IT? Let's make sure that the answers to those questions are easily available on Google, on a portal that's branded for you. Let's give them the ability to self-serve. And most of our clients see a 50 to 70% reduction in inbound calls and requests.
Okay.
It's substantial.
Wow, it's huge.
Man.
No, that's really huge.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's our biggest deal, especially in that, is where I work, is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm losing a lot of time and money, wasting time and money.
It's common. The inefficiencies, and here's the challenge. IT folks in K-12 are some of the most gifted, skilled IT people across any industry.
Sure.
Right? But because we're hampered with having to fight fires and address every request that comes in, we don't have the time to shine, and I think sometimes that excellence gets overshadowed.
Yeah. So that makes me think, in the questions I get from my superintendent about my department a lot is that, what are your people doing?
Yes.
So reporting levels, that what am I looking at there? I mean, I know what I'm looking at, but I want to hear you say it, because it's going to be daily, hourly. Well, it's instantaneous at this point. Now we're getting the Amazon Zappos experience. I need it right now. Boom, this is what's going on.
I hate that you have to answer that question. We're
always going to
for
have to,
any
though.
IT leader. It's so frustrating. You know the value you provide, but sometimes it's difficult to articulate.
Sure.
So what we do for our customers and what they greatly benefit from is this scorecard concept. So I can show a scorecard to the superintendent or any particular facility or principal and say, listen, here are all the requests that we've fulfilled for your facility, for the district. Here are all the projects we've done that you may not even have noticed that have added value. Here are the constraints we're under, right? Here's our body of work. And what we found is that many times CTOs, CIOs can actually justify more resources once the superintendent really sees, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were fulfilling 5,000 requests a month, and you're doing all these other projects to implement all this cool learning technology.
Right. So,
my question is coming from the end user side.
Yeah.
And as he works in a district, I work at an education service agency.
Yep.
And
So
again,
two perspectives, two challenges.
Well, and we get hit.
The small picture.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we get hit with all kinds of requests and what have you. What, I don't know, I'm trying to think how to phrase the question. How do you get the users to change their mindset from saying, we're going to submit tickets, I'm going to call you on the phone, I'm going to send you a text, I'm going to send you an email, to getting them to look for the answers themselves? Because right now, I'd love to tell my users, Google it. Most of the stuff they could find. I've got some really bright users, but they're not in that mindset. So how do you make that shift?
These are excellent questions. I'm serious. These are really good. These are really good questions. So, and I love them because it's a challenge, right? These are you are honing in on the major problems with this, right?
Yeah.
So, what we see is it's a organizational and cultural change process. So what happens is if you employ a principle called knowledge-centered service, KCS, that process says every time that we address a request, we're going to create a knowledge article, right? So that the next time we can answer it. So the techs or people serving initially might answer the question if it comes in via email, which we track that too, right?
Sure.
You still have to be able to support the old channels, which we do. But they can say, hey, here's a knowledge article. Or did you try searching the portal? And the portal, from our experience, needs to be branded. It needs to look and feel like the district, like the school. It can't look like a foreign object. So like, what am I doing here?
Right.
And so it also is part of the education of the teachers, right? It's every time we get together and kick off the year or a term, and the students, hey, right on your phone, search this. Here's your portal. You have answers, come here. And over time, right, it might take a full year. But over time, people start searching. And the kids especially, and any of the younger teachers and parents, they want to Google anyway.
Right.
I mean, that's their expectation.
Yeah. So not just IT.
Not just IT.
Human resources.
Facilities.
Building a new building.
Construction.
Separate projects.
Yep.
Awesome.
You got it. It's a single platform to support all that work.
We build a new building, and it takes us 2 years. And then when we're done, we archive it, but we keep it.
Keep it.
Because we might build a new building, and we've got that knowledge base to go back to the next time.
You've got it squarely.
So,
have you learned? I mean, did you know anything about our product, or is this just
I do not.
It's impressive. You've got it exactly.
Your product is answering the questions that we've used 3 or 4 products to create.
Yep.
I say this all the time. Technology is catching up with education. Cost. Efficiency, the cloud. I don't have to have a server to run these 17 things anymore. It's all going to be handled over the net. But no, that's and I just went to the website and just caught the website is very good. And I read the first 5 bullet points and I know exactly what, and that's the thing, you're at the right market here for education.
Right.
So the guys like us that are IT directors, and we've been in the classroom, we've done the whole thing, but we see both sides of it, and they're going to get it also. So I get it 110%. The fun part would be to see the demo and see how it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
And watch the workflow. And the key for us is the workflow, and that's the teachers too. The users, students, teachers, parents, the administrators. I need something that's going to take me that looks the same, that's going to take me really quick, and I can get in and out in 3 minutes. And I don't have to wait for someone. And this is it's
right,
beautiful.
And you want to make sure that the requests make it to the right place, right?
I have one more question.
Automatically.
And then I got one after that. So.
Absolutely.
Well, one of my techs goes in and they start to work, and they answer a question, and at that point they need to create a knowledge article. Okay, does that happen instantaneously for them, or do they just check a little box and say, here's the category and here's where it falls into? And
that's exactly how it works. So they say, hey, I want to turn this into a knowledge article, and then it could go to you for review, or there's usually through KCS or even an ad hoc process, someone typically reviews it and say, hey, let's add some images to this, let's make it colorful, and then post it up.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's
really
cool.
nice.
And so my question comes from the implementation side.
Yes.
A school signs on their we're ready to go. Or, I say school, I mean it could be anything. I mean, this is very broad reaching. Yes, you're at an education conference, but any industry that has to provide some kind of assistance, I mean, frankly, it's going to benefit from this.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mean to be selling your product for you, but I mean, seriously, what we're talking about, what we're looking at, I mean, the scope is very broad, very far-reaching. But in terms of districts or ESAs, those types of things, from my perspective, I'm going to implement this. I'm going to come in. I get a blank database and I have to build from scratch, or is there anything that could be sort of across the board? Have you tried, almost like
preloaded knowledge content?
Yeah, kind of like preloaded stuff that other folks have kind of vetted out and said, look, 99% of the time when X happens, Y is the answer. So we're going to give you that.
Yeah.
Is that something? Is that how yours works?
Yeah, so what we do is we have consultants that work for us, so they're extremely experienced in the education space, and what they'll do is come in and say, okay, let's focus on your biggest issues first. Let's make a huge impact without muddying the waters. Right. We can get to the smaller stuff later, and then what we can do is we can port over examples from other customers. The great thing about EDU is that everyone shares everything.
Yes.
Right.
And so we benefit from that because we only focus on education. So we can bring a lot of those resources to bear. And what's even more brilliant about it is our communities are very active. So you might go out and say, hey, we're implementing, pick any of these brilliant educational technologies. Does anyone have a knowledge base around one of these technologies? And someone in that community will say, yeah, let me send that over to you, import it right in.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice. Training.
Yes.
To get into it. Well, what's a district looking at with their, yes, we want to implement that. What training do you provide, and how long will it take my people to get up and running? That's always the question, right?
Sure.
Like they call 1st of August and go, we start school in 2 weeks. Can you get me in? That kind of thing.
That would, if I told you it was
start in the spring.
One of my favorite people is our VP of Professional Services, and if I were on here and said, 2 weeks we'll get you up running, he would.
And we're realistic.
He'd probably pull me into a conference room and have a conversation with me.
We have to calm principals and administrators down, superintendents all the time. Say, listen. It's a process. It's going to take some time, but a realistic process.
Realistically, you're looking at 90 to 120 days, but that's not dedicated time. I mean, you're really looking at 3 weeks, 4 weeks of dedicated time over that duration to get up and running. Through that process, our teams will train the administrators. So that project team we're working with in the district or the service organization, they'll be experts by the time we get to training. Then we'll deliver training, and we can do video training as well, or in-class training. It just depends on what the preference of the customer is.
Sure. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That is awesome.
Pricing model, by student, by campus, by site?
By technician. So it's by the internal folks. So if you had a district with 250,000 students and parents, you don't pay for any of those requesters. You don't pay for the teachers. You don't pay for the people making requests.
You pay for the 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 techs.
The people doing the work.
Or 2.
Yeah, right.
We're a small district.
Yeah.
But 2 to 4 to 8. Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
nice.
Yeah. I think the biggest overall thing that we want to do is we want to help a district or a school seamlessly meet those new service expectations and remove the efficiency so that you can do things like focus most of your energies on one-to-one classroom, augmented reality, blended learning environments, maker spaces, all this really cool stuff that's pushing learning. Because what we're finding is parents, whether you're a 250,000 person district or student district or a 10,000 student district, expect the same level of educational technology. So we want to help CTOs get there and focus on those types of things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big issue.
Gary Lambert is with Union and a school district that has their own student tech team called the Beak Squad.
Awesome.
And it's really big. A lot of schools model after it, and they model themselves after some other schools.
It's awesome.
This doesn't become just a solution. This becomes a learning piece for students going into the IT market or any project-based market. I mean, this is a really neat
Student
piece.
technicians are actually surprisingly common and effective.
Yeah.
And we love it. We have a really inexpensive license type for the student. It doesn't have any difference in capability, right?
Yeah.
Which I guess we could be taken advantage of if somebody really wanted to, but they don't. We aren't.
Yeah.
But we just know that you have students and you want them in there using the product and learning.
That's beautiful that you have a separate. That would really is, and that actually puts a lot of districts in. Well, we need to start a student support group.
Oh, it's a brilliant idea.
That's awesome.
Very amazing.
Yeah,
we're excited for your program, and this is really cool.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you having us on. I enjoyed talking to you. It's great to talk to people. You guys get it immediately. You asked all the right questions. I'm serious.
Well, we asked the right questions because they're the things we're dealing with day in and day out. So if you're going to present a solution, we want to make sure that it's a solution that we could actually use. And I mean, seriously, that you really dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to have to go look these guys up because, I mean, seriously, I'm thinking on the scale that where I operate, and I'm like, well, holy cow.
Yeah, and, we'll take this back to Arkansas with us, and our listeners are everywhere.
Of course, the listeners are everywhere.
So that's really awesome. I'm very impressed. And
I'm just so glad that. I mean, I'm not glad that you're having these challenges, but I'm glad that we are aligned and can help.
But there's a solution
That's
for
right.
them, right? Yeah,
that's right.
And it's great you're attacking that solution.
Yeah.
Well, and there's the thing. You guys aren't just for K-12. You're not just for education, are you?
We focus on just education. K-12 and higher ed.
Oh, and higher ed.
Higher ed,
that's what I meant. So, you guys, you go the gamut.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
I hope you have a great FETC.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Are you guys on the floor here?
We are. Yes, we are.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what booth number?
2652. So we're right by the keynote.
Folks are listening live.
Awesome.
Yeah, right by the keynote over there.
Well, we'll probably hit the exhibits again after.
Okay,
4,
great.
And we'll try to drop by again.
Come look us up.
Yeah. How do people get in touch with you?
Yes.
TeamDynamix.com is the best way, and that's TeamDynamix.com.
Okay.
Best way to find us.
Awesome.
You've been listening to a recorded conversation from EduTech Guys live coverage of FETC 2018. For more information about EduTech Guys, visit edutechguys.com. And thanks for listening.